Another lopsided victory for the Edmonton Oilers. They get the job done against the tired Winnipeg Jets squad. 6-2 is your final, and we're going to break it all down right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show on Edmonton Sports Talk. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying warm. If you're at the game, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate that very, very much. A happy, joyous crowd in oil country as Edmonton has back-to-back victories, which is important. Very convincing wins, also important. And now let's see if they can continue that into Tuesday's game against the Buffalo Sabres, a Sabres team that beat the Oilers pretty handily a couple of weeks ago in Buffalo 5-1. And then the Oilers will close out this 5-game homestand with the Detroit Red Wings on Thursday. We've got Joaquin Gage joining us. He is our game analyst for tonight. And then Benny Thomson back at EST Global HQ. You can text us, 780-218-9999. Jump into the chat as well. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. And we will guide you into the night as Edmonton gets the job done against Winnipeg. Of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Joaquin Gage inside the satellite studios, a.k.a. Tom's Kitchen, but very cozy in there. And then we got Benny back at EST Global HQ. Boys, that was a very good night for fans of the team. And then I think, the way the Oilers jumped on the Jets, I think we were talking about it pregame, Gager, and they followed through, and that's pretty satisfying. And that's back-to-back satisfying victories, and something really this team hasn't done through 29 games this season, Gager.
Starting on time again, Tommy, right? Like this is is it weird to say an uncharacteristic trait of this team to
totally
start the
fair.
game when the puck drops and look, we said in the pregame show, I said it, I guess, but I think we all wanted to see the Oilers cement the type of game that they wanted to play within that first 10 minutes. And again, for the first time that I can remember, the momentum from the last game completely funneled into this game. Like their mindset of getting pucks to the net, right? Yes. And creating chaos, making it like, I didn't think that, look, it wasn't Eric Comrie's best stuff, but what else? He would have have to have been superhuman to stop some of these things. Like McDavid, the Nuge, the first goal. In games past, you would see him try to get Nuge that tap in, right, as hard as he can. But no, he does. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to rip this on net on that side, and if there's a rebound, I've got a guy going there. The mindset has completely changed with this team. It's good. It's a step in the right direction for sure.
The old shot pass there. Benny Thomson, what do you got tonight? What stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, like that was probably, in my opinion, their first period was their best period all year. That to me, that was the best 20 minutes they've put together all year. And it was funny in the nasty chat before the game. Some of the WSTers were talking about this is a who is back competition tonight. Whoever wins tonight is back. I'm not willing to say the Oilers are officially back, even though they had a fantastic game tonight and got a little bit
good step
third.
Good step.
But yeah, just another very solid effort, and you can just see the confidence growing with this crew. The chemistry's building. They're feeling that like the puck is just moving better. I mean, that starts off with your D making a great first pass. I mean, Evan Bouchard had 3 or 4 fantastic transitional first passes in that first period alone. A little bit of a rough third period, but I'll put a blind eye to that one. But to me, the biggest thing was they did not pass off shots, and I think that is a direct lead to their captain. Their captain was the one that started that off against Seattle. Was firing everything. Same thing tonight. Comes out and just shoots everything. He's so dangerous when he has that in his repertoire because then you don't know where he's going. If he could fire one past you, then he could dish it to Hyman back door. So having that asset to Connor McDavid's game makes them just way more dangerous when they're out there. And obviously he gets his winger back and Nuge and Hyman and all these. Obviously those guys have competitions or chemistry. But yeah, they're buzzing right now. It's going pretty well. I won't say they're fully back tonight, but things are looking very good. I'll say this: who do they play next? At Buffalo on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
If they beat Buffalo, they're back. I'll say it.
Well,
I'll say it. They're back.
Wow, Benny, very convinced. A good step in the right direction. If they do beat Buffalo, if that's on Tuesday night, of course, that would be their first 3-game winning streak of the season. And okay, we want to hear from you. Text us. Somebody texted in and said, "Happy Beer Miss," and it's from D-Rex. Is it Beer Miss tonight? Or is that just a tree full of beers ready to go, D-Rex? Very well done. I'm very impressed with that. Cheers to those that are enjoying a crispy, cool one right now, a social sparkler, if you will. Colorado Rusty texting in says, "Jets, Sans, Hellebuck is a disaster. Taze was invisible. Not sure how that's going to go. Oilers look great. Solid effort, including Frederick. Made a good play for the Apple." Yes, on the Tomashek goal to make it 6-1. And then, of course, the Jets made it 6-2. Coach Mike says, "It's starting to feel like the Oilers are back. Now they just have to finish this homestand strong." Also, is someone going to do a wellness check on Huss from Coach Mike? I think Huss will be okay. He's been through a lot throughout the course of his career. Get that man a libation or two and warm him up, because I'm sure it's pretty chilly in Winnipeg as well. Gager, something that I appreciated tonight from the Oilers was, they went pedal to the metal, and on Game Changers, you went all Top Gun references on actually Gage changers, as I should call them tonight appropriately. You said, "I feel the need for speed." That stood out to me because they pushed the pace. They scored, and they scored often in that first period. They outshot Winnipeg. I think it was 16-5 by the end of the first period. And they had a bunch of goals after the first period as well. They had built up a nice 4-0 lead. They chased Eric Comrie from the net. I appreciate that killer instinct. So to me, that is what I am encouraged by the most. And you talked about the need for speed. It's not the burners and the foot speed, right? You're talking about efficiency with the puck.
Yeah, it's all encompassing. When you talk about the speed of the game, it comes from the decision making, right? The anticipation level of the Edmonton Oilers, and you saw that. You saw it especially in that first period, that first 10 minutes, like you said, Benny. That's probably the best start of a game that the Oilers had, because, and they've played the Winnipeg Jets in the past. The Jets are familiar with this Edmonton Oilers team. They're in the past games, there is that wading into the waters to kind of see what type of game this is going to be. That wasn't the case tonight, and they got a team on the back of a game that obviously the Jets played well and won that game, but they were a shell of what they were from the previous night, and the Oilers took advantage of it. And we talk about certain games throughout the regular season for the Edmonton Oilers where you kind of you probably put a square around it, where it's not a scheduled loss till the game is over, but of course you always prepare for each game. But if you really look at it, at the beginning of the season, the Winnipeg Jets might look at this game against the Oilers with the tough back-to-backs as kind of a scheduled loss. Yeah. Right. So, and it probably is even more so with the loss of your best player in Connor Hellebuck.
Definitely stacked against them, and every team goes through it this year, especially with the condensed schedule. We've seen it with the Oilers, and then this one was stacked against the Winnipeg Jets. The good thing is, if you're a Jets fan, they won last night in a convincing fashion, but tonight, not so good. All right, let's take a look at the Stu Skinner's night. Okay, he didn't see a ton of shots. Obviously, there was a good push from Winnipeg. They didn't want to go down without swinging a few times at the Oilers. Skinner, 19 saves on 21 shots. That's a .905 save percentage. I know Dusty in our group chat was kind of joking when he allowed that first goal. I think it was the 9th shot of the game for the Jets. Yeah. And it was a nice tic-tac-toe. Bouchard got burnt by Kyle Connor on that play and allowed for Connor to find Scheifele over to Velarde, and he tucked it home. I don't know what you expect from Skinner on that one. And then the goal that got called back by Scheifele, That was just a brilliant shot.
Laser.
Absolutely brilliant. So the entire body of work from Stu Skinner tonight, Joaquin, what stood out to you? And then his last few starts, because that's 3 goals allowed in his last 3.
So again, you look at the first 10 minutes and the saves that he had to make. And I believe it was, Scheifele had a good chance, and Connor fired one. I knew it was going to be a good night because I think it was the Connor one late in the first where it was a right pad save, but complete control of the rebound. It was basically, he controlled the rebound so much that he popped it back out in front of him so he could cover it up, right? Mm-hmm. He made a very hard shot look quite pedestrian. So, and those are the types of goal or shots that you need to save in that point. Your team is dominating, right? You don't want to give the other team any life, but have your team sag a little bit because they're playing so well. I thought that first period of Stuart Skinner was great. Wasn't tested tons, but for the more difficult shots, and there wasn't tons, but he made them look really routine, and that can demoralize a team as well that you're playing against, right? Okay, we're not going to get a weak one on this guy. We have to do something a little bit more creative and get into those dirty areas if we're going to do that. So that's a great sign from a goaltender. That's you're feeling part of the team at that point, Tommy. Like when your team's doing well and the other team gets a chance and you shut them down right away. That's that type of feeling that goes throughout the whole lineup. Just you okay, we got this thing. We're feeling good, and they didn't let their foot off the gas at all that game, which was quite encouraging because. And again, in games past, it seems like when it looks like the Edmonton Oilers have a game in their hand, they see, we got this. We don't have to do anymore. They ran right through the tape, I would say, on tonight's game. Okay,
we talked about Stu, and I've seen some of the responses in the nasty chat as you were going through that, Gager. This one from Andro said, Oilers are rolling. Stu looked great. Go Oil. Some stranger says Stu was flopping all over the ice again. And then someone followed up. Simple says, I don't look at flopping as a bad thing. Anyone remember Hasek? And then Shaggy says that second Jets goal wasn't a good goal. Bad lateral movement on the wraparound. I think there's a few breakdowns in front of him. But did you notice any sloppiness?
The only time, look, and I get it because you're feeling it a little bit and you get a little bit adventurous, right? But it's a razor's edge as a goaltender. And I believe it was in the second period where Stuart Skinner went out to stop the puck, right? And he'd been doing a pretty good job of it before. Just either he's stopping it, setting it up, or moving it quick, right? Like Stuart Skinner, when he goes behind the net, he should know exactly what he's doing with the puck before he gets there. He is not a good enough puck handler to be able to go stop the puck, lift his head and have a look and see what's available to him, right? He has to have that kind of, plan A, I'm getting back there. And if there is a plan B, then I can understand it. But he went straight to plan B and for some reason thought he could draw someone towards him a little bit. And then all of a sudden he realizes he's out of time. # put some tape on your stick. But
I knew you would get to that at some point.
He's got, make quick decisions. Why put yourself in that jeopardy? And what did you see afterwards? Scrambling back to the net and it's chaos. Yep. Your teammates are all over the place. And it generated a good chance for the Winnipeg Jets. Make your decisions. If you're not a good puck handler as a goaltender, you can be a good puck handler, but you have to make decisions quickly, right? Mm-hmm. And you can't try to look for the more sexy play. Just get it into a place that it's safe and you can get back into that if something does happen.
Text us your thoughts, 780-218-9999. The Oilers with the 6-2 win over the Winnipeg Jets. Get to the nasty chat as well. Gazzola, Gage, and Benny Thomson with you. Benny, you kind of alluded to it. Do you want to mention Bouchard? You had something to say on that?
Yeah, to me, I feel like, I've been saying this for a couple weeks now. Despite the ups and downs of the Edmonton Oilers, I thought Bouchard's game was turning around.
Yes.
I marked it when I think it was after his benching against Columbus after that slashing penalty he took. To me, I felt like his game has slowly been progressing. To me, that feed he made Draisaitl for that breakaway, that's an elite level pass that Evan Bouchard
It
makes
was nice
to Leon Draisaitl for that breakaway. Like to me, those are the highs of Evan Bouchard, right? And then you have the Kyle Connor walking him for the lows. But if he can continue to eliminate those, this is a very solid defenseman the Oilers have here. This is why they paid him $10.5 million. Whether you agree or disagree with the contract, that's why they paid him that money, was to make plays like he did at Draisaitl today. So to me, if his game just continues to trend this way, he's not a problem. He's gonna have the odd brain fart, and he had a couple turnovers. I think the whole team, they were sleepy especially the start of that third period. But I think his game is progressing. It's very nice to see number 2 playing at his best.
He also blocked a shot to set up Draisaitl on that one. It wasn't yeah. Okay, I want to read these stats from Brian Swain. Swainer always digs up some gems basically every game. So thank you, Swainer. We appreciate it, and we always use these. All right, we saw a Curtis Lazar goal tonight. Absolutely fantastic to see. But Swainer says this was Curtis Lazar's first goal in Edmonton since May 11th, 2014. That was Game 6 of the WHL Championship. He's the only player to have scored for both the modern-day Oil Kings and for the Oilers, which is kind of crazy considering how many Oil Kings were drafted or traded for by the Oilers. Griffin Reinhart played a bunch. We don't need to get into that trade. They also, they had Mitch Mraz. That didn't really work out. Travis Iwanek, they had him down on the farm. I think Iwanek's still playing over in Europe. Great guy, local product. Good to see Lazar fire one home. Awesome dude. And then Brian Swain sends in this one as well. Matt Savoy is only the third player under age 22 in franchise history with a power play goal, shorthanded goal, and game-winning goal in a 2-game span. The others are Wayne Gretzky and Glenn Anderson. Gager, that is some elite company, but I think the youngster is actually starting to get a bit of a payoff for the hard work, right?
Oh, most definitely, Tommy. I mean, that's quite interesting stats. I saw another stat on the screen tonight about this is the first time since I think they said 86 where the Oilers have had 2-goal or 3-goal leads in each period or something like that.
It was like 3 goals in a period for consecutive
periods, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are all good signs, because when you're comparing a team to 80s Oilers teams, it usually means your team is going in the right direction.
Yeah, a lot to like. Some neat stats there, and we can acknowledge those as the Oilers pull off the 6-2 victory. All right, let's go to the Wolf texting in. Says, woo! Benny asked for it, and he shall receive. Great win, great pressure, great post-game show. Let's go, the Wolf. Ow! Sean Z says, TSN turning point. Fans do the wave, and Winnipeg capitalizes with a goal. It's funny how that works. I don't know. It's like just bad karma or something like that. Matt Hyman says, Matt Hyman actually out of Winnipeg was before the game had ended being like, are you starting this game, post-game show soon because the game is over? Timber Woodsman pointing out the wave. Tommy Rubella says, when Connor got his goalie interference, the net was off. If Winnipeg misses a pass back and it goes into the open net, it would have been if missed if the net was on. Would that have counted as a goal? I don't know. I didn't even notice that. I do. We noticed that the net was off, Gager, but if they pass it into the net, could they have called that a goal?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
That is a great question.
Because they didn't go. Nobody bothered to put the net back on. It was kind of strange.
So you obviously, if Winnipeg were to pass it back and it to go into the net, we'd have to look at that. At first, I would think it would be a goal, right? It wouldn't matter. That's the way it is. But good for Connor McDavid to run the goalie, right? Setting the tone.
That's one way to look at it. Norman at Combine texting says, hi, gents, good game. Bouchard didn't want the game to get out of hand. Good on him with a facepalm emoji. Vinny Vegas texted and says, "Hey, Tommy, a.k.a. Kerry Fraser. Nice to see the Oilers' opposition goalies getting pulled. Right, Gager? Good to see them shoot more. Still looking for the pretty passes, but at least McDavid is shooting more. Disagree with Ben. We beat the Leafs. We are back." Vinny Vegas. So the Leafs, that's next Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're giving them but I mean, give them credit for these wins, but they don't even have a 3-game winning streak. Vance Van Vanderven. Tommy G, were you drinking after the game? No, I went and visited our buddies over at Honey Honey as we were making our way back to the satellite studios. So Vance Van Vanderven, if that's where you were, sorry you didn't. I didn't get a chance to say hi. And Gager, you met Scotty Dodds. He was on the production team of Making Coco. I think he was on Ice Guardians. So great crew over there. Saw Sean McTavish. Great to see Sean. Troll wants to know, Gager, who's going to win the F1 title tomorrow? I heard you saying you're getting up at 6 tomorrow to watch.
Oh God, I think it's Lando's. It's something weird has to happen at this moment. I mean, Max has done everything possible. Max was going to win the race. But it all depends on what Lando does. It depends on this first corner, right? It's good that he has Piastri behind him, but it's still in a weird situation, right? Because there's still the chance that Oscar could win. Something really weird would have to happen, but for Oscar not to put his nose in there on that first corner, I think he does. We'll see what happens. The first few laps are going to be very interesting, that's for sure.
The potential for drama is going to be tremendous. So let's see how it plays out over on the F1 side. Let's go to Coach Mike texting in. Says, was some kind of illness going through the locker room the last few weeks? They seem to be moving better on the ice. Team looks more connected. And then Coach Mike adds that the Oilers are back in a playoff spot. Yes, I know that's kind of reassuring for some people.
Well, sometimes it's good to watch a hockey game. And I mean, for an Oilers fan, I know it's hard, but try to look at the other team like they're your favorite team. And Tommy, you had mentioned it at the beginning of the game. These guys can't move the puck. Right? Yeah. And partly was the pressure that the Edmonton Oilers were forcing on the Winnipeg Jets in their own zone, but their puck movement was essentially non-existent, and they looked like a very, very slow team. How many times in those first, I want to say a handful of those first 15 games where, gosh, are the Oilers fast enough? Do they have enough speed? And then tonight we're going, man, they look so quick. It's not just, like you said, the skating ability. It's the decision-making, becoming open, and the movement of the puck is what creates speed and chances at the other end. And the Oilers were their puck distribution and the way that they were transporting the pucks from D to forwards and gaining the zone, and even within zone, right? There was 1-2 quick passes and usually a shot, and you had Jets spinning. They were caught in the jet wash, as Maverick did when we lost Goose there, Tommy.
Great way to circle back to the pregame show and Gage changers. That is brilliant. The depth of your abilities, you have layers. You're like a good tiramisu, my friend.
Well, some people say an onion, but I bring tears to your eyes, Tommy.
Oh boy, it's just poetic and beautiful all at the same time. Okay, one thing I noticed though, and I want to point this out, like we're talking about the dogged determination and the hustle on the forecheck and forcing Winnipeg to be a slow team. When the Oilers scored that first goal, McDavid celebrated, and he's the one who set it up with the shot pass, okay? It was Nugent Hopkins that scored it. But McDavid turned and pointed at Hyman, and he goes, that was you, that was you. Hyman made the play on the wall at the blue line, took the hit from Logan Stanley, got the puck to McDavid, who had the shot pass. Nugent Hopkins buried it. I can admire and appreciate that type of thing. I think that's a great sign. And it seems subtle. Maybe it's irrelevant to some people, but boys, to me, that's a great indicator, because one guy sacrificed his body to make the play. It allowed two great offensive players to combine for that first goal, and it got the ball rolling. So Joaquin, to me, that's very important. And we saw more of that because they continue on with that pressure and making the right things happen the rest of that first period.
Yeah, they didn't look pained to make after they made a good play, right, Tommy? And I love that about McDavid. Like he's a very unselfish player. You know, he's probably the most unselfish, skilled player in the game. Like he's always looking to get other people involved in the scoring, almost, well, to a fault, we could say that. But just the way that he played in the game previous, and we mentioned, you know what, he of course he saw Nuge on the back door there, but he was just like, I'm shooting this thing. You know, I'm not passing. I'm not letting a goalie that's play on the second night of a back-to-back off the hook. And Eric Comrie had to make a really good save. And what happens? Rebound. Middle of the ice. Very hard to control from there. And Nuge not fanning out to the outside looking for a one-timer or the easy play. Where is he going? Driving to the net. Yep. So all those things, I mean, McDavid thinks the game at a different level, but he's recognizing what happened right before he got the puck, right? So he's looking at Hyman, and then Nuge scores the goal. He's happy. McDavid's happy. Hyman's ecstatic. Like you saw them come together, and I go, who are these guys? Like they're happy to score goals. And Benny made a good point, right? Like you're led by your leaders in hockey. You go as they go. And I don't know, this would be a good question to ask you guys. With McDavid trying to pass the puck too much, did that filter throughout the whole lineup where you could say everyone was doing that, right? And tonight, I mean, if they're in a good area to shoot, they're letting it go. One of the best shots, I thought it was about Podkolzin, and Tommy, you pointed out it was Ekholm. Ekholm's at not a great angle, but he launches a rocket that forces the goalie to make a difficult save. And Comrie made that shoulder save, and again, a rebound. I think they scored more rebound goals tonight than they have all season. But that's too. Those are great goals. Those are unbelievable goals. You shoot the puck, you go to the net, and you try to out-battle guys. Those are the tough areas. That wears down teams, right? It doesn't have to be pretty all the time. This was it's a huge step. I think this is a big step for them. We're not going to say they're back, but going over video, I guarantee you the coaching staff is ecstatic of what they saw from their team tonight.
A lot of good clips. And one of them would be, and you talked about that rebound goal after the Ekholm shot, that was Matt Savoy, who out-battled and beat Adam Lowry to the puck to tuck it in.
Exactly. Like, I mean, he's a dog. He's got some dog in him.
Yeah.
Right. But the guys are shooting the puck. I got to get to the front because there might be some garbage for me to clean up. That was a great goal. Unbelievable goal.
Benny, what do you say to Gage when he puts it out to us in regard to like following McDavid and Draisaitl's shooting mentality? Finally, do you buy that?
Yeah. Like, to me, there was no screwing around tonight with this crew. And like I said off the top, like it starts with your leaders. I've said that when this team has been struggling, the top guys hadn't been good enough. And tonight, the first thing I had down was, holy McDavid's flying. Like he's just like you couldn't stop him tonight. And when guys are flying, obviously, of course, like everyone wants to get the puck to Leon and Connor because they're so great with what they do with it. But tonight was a night where they like, I'm getting it to him. No matter what happens, I'm getting the puck to him because he's just going to do something ridiculous tonight. And so I feel like that was just one of the things he was doing tonight. He was shooting the puck. And you could see it just trickle down through the entire team. I mean, Lazar scored on a great shot. Tomasek scored on a great shot today. Everyone was just firing the puck where all fans have been screaming at them to shoot it from. Like, everyone's been wanting them shoot the puck and then go to the net. Like, it felt relieving to watch some of these goals. Everyone's been like, that needs to happen. Like you said, was it the first two? It was two of the three first goals of the game are just rebound goals. Just greasy. You get there, you beat a guy to the net, score a goal. It's so nice to see. And I think it comes from from the top. And Connor shooting the puck tonight, I think, had a big factor in that.
All right, I want to get to this text from Big Dave. You can text us via the inbox 780-218-9999. Jump into the chat as well. Big Dave says only 3 goals on Stu in his last 3 starts. Now I think it's proof of what happens when his team plays better. Yes, absolutely. And then Big Dave follows up with, there was lots of good in this game, but the Oilers are still coughing up a lot of turnovers. Hopefully, as they improve, that works its way out of their game. What would you say to Big Dave and that observation about the turnovers, Joaquin? Because it seemed like they were pretty good with the puck, but that's just me going, this game's over. I think they've, kind of brushed their hands off with the Jets, and maybe they started getting sloppy. Did you see it the same way?
Well, that first period, the first thing that comes to mind is Leon's new partnership with Royal Pizza, because there were 2 pizzas in the offensive zone that he threw away, right?
Yes.
I would have to look at the turnovers themselves, right? Like those, and I'm just going to focus on Leon. Those I find are bad turnovers, right? And look, the start of the third, it did look like you had a little bit of a push from the Jets, and maybe they were looking to do something a little bit more. But for the first 2 periods, there was, what do we call it? Puck management or game management. Yeah. They put, even when they were under duress, in a sense, they made the simple plays to make sure that they could recover. I felt, anyways, right? It's when you get in, I got to do more. Maybe the lead helps in those types of scenarios. But I found that their puck management was really good up to, in the third, there was some questionable ones. But I'd have to look at the specifics. He's looking at the turnovers, because teams are trying to turn the puck over too, right? Sometimes they make really good anticipation plays. Like you saw the Jets trying to establish a little bit more of a forecheck at the start of the third period, where they were actually taking the outlets away from the 1D with the puck, like and hoping to force another turnover, like a little bit more anticipation. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, that was a pretty decent puck managed game from the Oilers.
Let's go to Stupid Peter. I laugh every time I read the handle. Stupid Peter says the uptick in the defensive game has a lot to do with the way Regula and Emerson have played. Really encouraging to see them rounding into form. And those are the 2 youngest defensemen on the Oilers blue line with the least amount of games played. Those guys take time, trial and error. It's hard to have patience when things aren't going well for guys like that. But, you give them a chance. Team collectively is playing better, sound defensively. You get a few saves here and there, and all of a sudden the young guys who are making mistakes and getting burned on them look a little bit better.
Well, there was one instance, I believe it was the third, where Emerson bobbled the puck, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, and what was the most encouraging thing is he didn't panic, right? He just fell back into position, read the play. He didn't try to make up for his mistake right away. He goes, right. I messed up. Let's refocus. And everyone came together. Like, right. It was a good moment for the team to recover from a mistake from one of their teammates. And there was no panic, right? They knew they had it under control. I was like, that's impressive, because in games past, if there was a turnover, you would see one guy trying to make up for his mistake, and try to do something quick, instead of just, lack of a better term, taking a breath and analyzing the situation. The Oilers that was a good mental game for them too.
Yeah. Reno texting in, joking about Joaquin, says, looks like the talking head in that background. That's my kitchen, Dad. And then Reno adds, lots of what Joaquin is saying is starting to happen with the Oil. They have some jump and actually look like they're having some fun in their game. And Gage, you've been pretty adamant about that. Like, it's okay to enjoy playing the game and have fun scoring and winning and all that good stuff. So the vibe matters. I want to get to this one from Mowgli via the nasty chat. Says, I have a question. Is it hard to play with the Oilers? Arvidsson was terrible in Edmonton, but success with Boston. Is it hard for players like Frederick to play with this team? Same with a guy like Yamamoto, who's with Utah now. Joaquin, I put that question to you. You would have a better sense of it than me.
at times, like you see in trades sometimes, and it's different for Frederic because he was here for a little bit, right? Like, and part of the playoff run. But to find your role in it within a team, I think Frederic's put way too much pressure on himself. He's just looked at this 8-year deal and it's just I got to do the most. I got to earn this thing. Look, you kind of got to say the reason why I got this contract is because I earned it from years past. Right? It's that I've earned this, and you have to be a little bit selfish and have a little bit more confidence in yourself and just play your game. You were talking about his ice time at one point during the game, and he's not very noticeable. He has to find a way to impact the game the way he had in years past. I don't know what that is. I think he's playing with the perfect players to help him get to there. But I don't know, Tommy. He's an enigma. Trent Frederic is right now because he's struggling. But like I said, we saw that with Janmark. We saw that, not Janmark, Arvidsson. We saw that with Jeff Skinner too, right? So these were two guys coming into a team where probably trying to do a little bit too much, right? Sometimes the best thing you can do is just keep everything so simple. And maybe, just maybe, the fact that the Edmonton Oilers have reverted back to a simpler style of game, get the puck to the middle, get it on net, do these it's not all dipsy doodle backhand sauce passes and backdoor tap ins, right? Maybe this becomes Connor McDavid running the goalie. Maybe this ignites a little bit more in a simpler form of hockey where I think that's where you would see the best in a player like Trent Frederic.
I'm so glad you mentioned Janmark. The boy has a 2-game point streak going. Well done. Another assist tonight for
Very
him.
embarrassing, Tommy, doing high fives in the press box.
Whoops. All right, let's go to Hot Oreo Moments. Texted, throw in Wallman, Kapanen, and Roslovic, and they will be cooking. Someone else asked for an update on Wallman. I do not have one. Sorry, Jordan. We'll see if he's practicing. If he is, that'll be a good sign. I think he's been back on the ice. But, and then we even said it on the pregame show. He is kind of injury prone, which is unfortunate, but hopefully he's back up and running soon. Mowgli says Janmark stinks. What? His BO? I'm just kidding. Box Pounder texting and says, has the depth scoring turned the corner, or is this an outlier? Cheers from Box Pounder. What do you think, Benny?
Yeah, they had a stat on the Sportsnet broadcast. I think it was the Oilers' top 6 had 46 of their goals, and their bottom 6 had 12, I think. And obviously the top 6 is going to have more goals than the bottom 6. And it's this roster construction. But of course, yeah. Would you like Frederic to have more goals? Yes. Would you like Mangiapane to have more goals? Yes. Henrique showed flashes of offense earlier this season. It's kind of gone down a little bit over the past little while. But, Lazar and Tomaszek scoring goals tonight was a nice positive to see. I know we were just talking about Trent Frederic. That forecheck he had on the Tomaszek goal, that's a good confidence booster. You can really carry that into your next game against Buffalo on Tuesday. Like, that's a solid, just momentum starter for you. So I hope it turns around for the Oilers. To me, I think you won't see the depth scoring come out until this team's fully healthy. When Jack Roslovic returns, you're sliding someone in that top 6 down. Savoy's offense is starting to get going a little bit. Can he produce at a similar level in a bottom 6 role? I'm not fully sure, but what if Nuge is a third line center? I know this top line played incredible tonight, but you have a lot of different options you can go with when your team's fully healthy, and you have a pure goal scorer right now in Jack Roslovic before he got hurt was looking pretty damn good at scoring goals. So I think that's where I'll really be able to tell. I think if this team has depth scoring is when this team is fully healthy on offense. But as of right now, it's definitely not looking great. And if it continues this way, I would want them to target that, probably the deadline. Try to bring in someone on that third line to add some extra scoring.
Yeah, understandable for sure. I'm going to go to this one really quickly before we go into the Oilers locker room. It's from D-Rex. Says, Tommy G, my wife just called you out drinking out of a Spirit of Edmonton cup. Class, my friend, all class. Yes, the Spirit of Edmonton cups. Thank you to Jerry Haraxi from Spirit of Edmonton. They keep your water or juice very cool and absolutely maintain the deliciousness of whatever beverage happens to be in them. All right, let's go inside the Oilers locker room. Let's hear from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Got the party started en route to a 6-2 victory tonight. Here he is.
Having a shutout, in which you guys played pretty well, I thought, against Minnesota. What does it do just to put up, 15 goals in 2 games after that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's what you want to see, how you want to respond, but it just comes down to sticking to it and not getting frustrated. Obviously, we had some good looks in that mini game, but it didn't go in, and then we kind of exploded the other night and followed up on it. So a lot of things to like tonight.
Do you feel like you've kind of turned the corner here and starting to play the way you guys feel you can play, I guess?
Yeah, I think the feeling is we're starting to get that back. I thought even on that road trip, I wasn't there, but I'm seeing on TV. I mean, I think the last few games, it was starting to come. You could see the way that we want to play creeping into our game, and then so it's never going to go super smooth, but we know what we're capable of, and it takes a lot of work, and that's when we're our best, is just simple and working hard, and then our skill kind of takes over from there.
I know you guys always believe you're going to find it, but it took a little longer this year to find it. Is there some relief when you finally do start playing it?
Yeah, I mean, we always believe we're going to find it, but it's never something that we just think it's automatically going to happen. We understand that it's going to take a lot of work, and sometimes you feel like you're working and it's not happening, and that can get frustrating, but I think when you stick together as a group inside this room, that's when good things happen, and that's what we've done so far.
It's not like it's all new line combinations and strategies and a bunch of reinforcements. Like, it's the same group here.
Yeah.
Just sort of how low we can get, how high you can get to.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of everybody just being on the same page, I think, and just being hard to play against. Just everybody skating, D standing up, forwards coming back, playing hard in our D zone, closing quick. I mean, it's all these little things that you can talk about, but you got to be able to go do it. And it's at the end of the day, it mostly comes down to just skating and working hard, but having the same mindset as a group.
Ryan, what have you noticed from Matt Savoy this season, especially as of late, as the numbers are starting to pile up for him?
Well, I think it's coming in, going in for him. The points are starting to come a little bit more for him, but I think his work ethic and just the way that he sees the game has been there all year. At first, they just kind of weren't going, and obviously he's a young kid, so you kind of got to pick your spots and learn the game a little bit. But he's such a smart player, and also he's a dog on a bone. He's relentless and great on the forecheck and good around the net. So it's nice to see it come for him now.
And how about the work from Stuart Skinner as well as Calvin Pickard the other night? But just how much your goaltenders have been able to dial it in.
Yeah, I mean, you need them to make those big ones at times, and even if you're rolling along, there's still going to be chances on the other side of it. So nice to see them kicking for us, and I feel like we're not hanging them out to dry as much lately, so it obviously makes a big difference.
Not hanging them out to dry lately, and it makes a difference. Funny, that concept. Had a scout from Pittsburgh actually say, wow, they're playing good defense, and what a difference that makes for goaltenders. Nugent-Hopkins also talking about hard work, doing simple things right, and all of a sudden, you can say it, and they're finally doing it. They were saying the right things for the majority of the season. They weren't enacting them on the ice in games, and now we're starting to see them actually put their money where their mouth is. A goal for Nugent-Hopkins, -1 tonight. He had 2 shots and a block shot for the Nuge in 18:06 time on ice. Also, he gave Savoy some love for outmuscling and beating Adam Lowry to the puck and burying a goal there. So good stuff from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. You like to hear it, and let's see if that continues. All right, I'm going to do this, guys, because Reid Wilkins will be hopping on in a little bit. We're going to get to the player or not, we're going to get to the play of the game. We're going to get to the Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. Benny will do the player of the game in a little bit. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You've got a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today at www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. I kind of want to know what you guys think of this one. I'm going to make the turning point of the game the 4-0 goal that the Oilers got from Evan Bouchard. And I say this because we've seen them blow 2-goal leads. We've seen them blow 3-goal leads. We've seen them have 3-goal leads, and it becomes a dicey game even after a 3-goal lead. But they go and they get that 4th goal. I know they had the one called back on Winnipeg. That was in the second period. And then they go and they get a goal from Lazar to really, stomp on the Winnipeg Jets. But I think that 4-0 goal, I'll say it collectively for Oil Country, probably was a sigh of relief. Who's coming back from down 4-0? And that was Bouchard, his 5th of the year, from Draisaitl and McDavid. And Comrie, you pointed out, Joaquin, when we were watching it, he just slipped. He looked like he was just dejected tonight. But that, to me, is the turning point of the game.
On that particular play, Comrie was overplaying that side. Every goaltender knows when it goes to that side on the power play, it usually means the Draisaitl one-timer, right? So he came across, and the fact that he saw, there was traffic, first of all. I liked the movement in itself, but not the end result, obviously.
Yeah.
A little bit more under control, but he was trying to make himself as big as possible. The Draisaitl makes a very skilled play back to Bouchard, and he's got a wide open net. But those are the types of things. Those are the things I'm talking about. Where this team is thinking of other things too that are causing a little bit more success. Teams are keying on Leon to do that. Like for him to get that puck through, there was 10 bodies in front. It seemed like at that time, right? So again, Leon not trying to be thread the needle there. Just give it back to Bouchard, let him pound it. For most goalies, that would have been hard if they were in good position for that shot because it was just a cannon, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But very, very highly skilled goal.
That play was sick. I was very happy about that one. I actually disagree with your turning point though, Tom. I disagree.
You watch your mouth.
Do you know when the turning point was?
No, go ahead.
When they released the schedule for these alternate jerseys. In these 3 games, they have 21 goals in these jerseys. I think they like them.
They're nice.
Maybe we give all the Oilers good goal credit to those jerseys. I know I'm joking a little bit, but yeah, that's like they seem like they like playing in them.
Maybe it's the curse of the jersey because remember when the photo was leaked, everyone was like, "Yuck," and now it's like, yeah, throw those bad boys on. Let's do this. Let's throw those gross coaching tracksuits that they have. Those
are bad. Those are really bad.
I have never in my life seen cream-colored tracksuits on coaches. Like that's impressive. Well done.
Yeah, done. Actually, you know what, Gage? It's funny you mentioned that. The other day on Thursday at the morning skate, optional, and I wander out onto the bench, the visitor bench, to take some video of just stuff that was going on. And Ryan Marsh comes over and we start chatting. And I'm like, Marshy, they need to break something up with that cream colored. He goes, well, it's not really that bad. And I go, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. You look like you're like a milkman. I know some people have said Ghostbusters, but I do not besmirch a Ghostbusters uniform.
No, that is not around. That is not a Ghostbuster uniform.
Absolutely not. And I'm like, just like break it up, like maybe blue pants or something. But yeah, it's the jersey looks good. They couldn't throw
a stripe on that thing. They couldn't throw a stripe on it.
There's no stripe. It's just, it's all vintage white. And I got some info about next year. The Oilers will have those jerseys again next year. They have to keep them for 3 seasons minimum. The league is going to have a new program, which is very exciting. It's going to be interesting to see what each team does. And I got a bit of a inside scoop on what the Oilers have up their sleeves, but I can't say more. So I'll just tease you with that. Okay. You can text us 780-218-9999. We're going to get to Reid's read. Gage, are you okay to stick around for a few more minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we're having fun. It's cold out there. We hope we're keeping you at least company as you drive home. And then if you're at home and staying warm, thanks for being here with us on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin, Gage, Ben Thomson, and then Reid Wilkins just about ready to go. I'm going to rattle off this text, and then we're going to get to Reid. And Gager will stick around for that, which is fantastic. Let's go to Conroe, Texas. Conroe, Texas says, confidence breeds confidence. It seems like these last couple of games, everybody's loosened their grip on their sticks a lot more. Even Trent Frederick looks relaxed. We haven't seen this many 6-foot passes all year. Everybody looks like they're finally one step ahead of the play instead of 3 steps behind when they score 15 in 2 games. Doesn't matter who your goalie is. That 6-foot pass thing resonates because it's something Joaquin has harped on for a long time, especially the last couple of seasons. So Conroe, Texas, a tip of the cap to you for catching on with that. And I think it's refreshing when it's actually connected and the team is getting results. All right. We're good to bring in Reid. All right. Let's bring in Reid Wilkins for Reid's Read. Brought to you as always by Ewell and your power play specialist. Ewell has the gear that you need for your next electrical project with 3 Edmonton area locations, and you can order online anytime at ewell.ca. Ewell, your Edmonton-based partner in power and source for all things electrical, and the Oilers were electric on the ice tonight. Reid, Rick, your takeaways after that 6-2 victory over Winnipeg.
Well, I mean, it was a butt kicking. The Oilers just dominated the first period. The Jets couldn't do anything, had no response, didn't get a save, couldn't forecheck, and the Oilers pretty much attacked at will. I heard you ran Nugent Hopkins. I don't know if you ran Knobloch yet.
Nope.
But he called the first 2 periods 10 out of 10 in terms of how they played. And then, the third period wasn't as good, and Winnipeg woke up a little bit, but by then it was too late. I mean, it's good to see McDavid shooting the puck. 5 more shots tonight. I know he didn't score, but a shot leads to a rebound, and Nugent Hopkins fires it in. Good for Savoy to get on the score sheet again. And I think if any goal sort of summarized how this game went and how these two teams are playing right now, and I know the Jets won last night, but Matt Savoy outmuscled Adam Lowry on that goal or got position on him.
Yep.
I think the puck went in off his leg, if I remember. So, but still, he beat Adam Lowry to the net, who's supposed to be, one of the best, if not the best, checking centers in the National Hockey League. So I think that's maybe a little indicative of where the two teams are at. If you're an Oilers fan, you're saying great for Savoy, the young kid's learning his way around the ice. I'm sure the Winnipeg postgame show is saying, how does Adam Lowry get beat by a guy half his size? What's going on with this team? And I really think, guys, and I know we've talked about this. We brought it up when the three of us were chatting during the game today. I think we're seeing the impact of the schedule. And I know good teams are still good, and I know bad teams are still bad, but the schedule does have an impact. And the Oilers had a hellacious schedule. I mean, a 5-game road trip early, 7 games and 11 nights. And now what have we seen from Winnipeg this week? So they're I'm just looking at their last 4 games. They're in Buffalo Monday. They're in Montreal Wednesday. They're home for a game last night. And then they're in Edmonton tonight. And I mean, the Jets stunk tonight for most of the game. And the Oilers did exactly what they should do by jumping all over them.
Reid, we were talking about this on the pregame show. We touched on it a bit. Benny brought it up and Gager hit on it a bit. The process of getting to being quote unquote back. Where do you put Edmonton now after the last couple of performances?
I think we're seeing a team that's playing proper hockey for several games in a row. So I'd say they're pretty close. I said I wasn't going to give full judgment until the homestand is over. But look, they got a little bit sloppy in the third period, I guess. I heard Gage talking about the Draisaitl giveaways. At least those were in the offensive zone, Gager. Like I honestly think you see it more in the preseason, but I honestly think sometimes Draisaitl gets bored and just decides, like, you know what? To hell with it. I'm going to try this. And then if it works, it's another play in my repertoire.
Yeah.
So I'm going to spin around. I'm going to do a double sow cow and then try a 85-foot sauce pass on my backhand. Why not? But certainly in terms of the defensive commitment, I mean, there are way fewer turnovers. There are way fewer guys left in front of the net. There are way fewer scrambles around the Oilers' net where guys are hacking at rebounds. I know the shot block totals were pretty modest tonight, both sides. Like, I'm just looking, 12 shots blocked by the Oilers, 6 for Winnipeg. But, Regula blocked 3 shots. It just seems the Oilers defenders, not just defensemen, like they're in the way more, with sticks in the lane or where they're getting back, or, if one guy's out of position or caught, there's another guy covering for him. They're not like looking around like, oh, whose guys? Oh, is that mine? Yours? I don't know. I guess they scored. It's too late. Like, there's just, they're more organized. So in terms of being back, that's very positive. I mean, they look like a team that has, a lot of veteran players who have been through a lot of battles and who have played in a lot of important games and should know what a proper hockey game looks like. It's starting to look more like that. I mean, even the Minnesota game, like that, a month ago, that would have been 4-0 after the first period for the Wild. I know Edmonton lost and got shut out, but it was 1-0. They still were one shot away from tying that game and getting into overtime. So I think that's the kind of biggest positive for me.
All right. It is Reid's Reid, brought to you by Ewell, your Edmonton-based partner in power and source for all things electrical. Because we have Joaquin here as well. Benny's back at EST Global HQ. Let's look ahead to this game on Tuesday against the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, you want to keep the good times rolling. An opportunity to win get to your first 3-game winning streak here, which is incredible. We're talking about game number 30 coming up, and they don't even have that. For you, Reid, and then you, Joaquin, what has to happen to get to this first winning streak of the season?
Yeah, well, keep playing the same way that we've been talking about, and just don't let off the gas. I mean, Buffalo's going to come in as likely the last place team in the Eastern Conference. I'm just checking. They're actually the only team below 500 points percentage in the East, which is kind of weird to say.
Yeah.
I think one thing I want to bring up out of that game, guys, I just want to double check something here. I know they played a few weeks ago, but, Ryan McLeod has 14 points in 28 games. What is Savoy up to now? I think this is a storyline here. Savoy's up to 10 points in 29 games, and he has more goals than McLeod. And he makes, a fifth of what McLeod makes, approximately?
Yeah, McLeod got like a $5 million deal.
Yeah, I really think that I know usually I tell people settle down on the speculations on the what if, but I really wonder if 3 years from now, it's going to be celebrated what a great trade this was for the Oilers. I mean, I think we're starting to see Savoy blossom a little bit here. He's trusted in a lot of different situations. I know McLeod got up to 53 points last year, which is by far his career high, but it was also on a team that was, not a contending team. So he was playing higher in the lineup. And Savoy's valuable as a penalty killer. He can be on the second unit power play, which I know McLeod could as well. But if you look at the price point that the Oilers are going to have Savoy at for the next couple of years, and at how he's starting to play, I really think that this trade could be evaluated as a significant win for the Oilers. And you look at the criticism of McLeod was that he was a fast player who didn't get to the net enough and maybe didn't think the game well enough. I think Savoy's smaller. We'll have to see how he does if and when he plays playoff games. But he's shown that he has the willingness to get to the net and play hard. And I think he has better hockey sense than Ryan McLeod. So, seeing those two players on the ice against each other again is going to be interesting.
Joaquin.
When I look at McLeod, I think at the beginning of the year and seeing him play, he is an NHL player. Like there's something there. As to what that would be, still, I think is still kind of up in the air. But at this point of Savoy's start of his NHL process, I look at him as a somewhat similar to Yamamoto, but better skill. Right. I think there's a little bit more on that side, but we see some similarities where he's got good positioning. He's always in the right spot. But then there's that next level of what you expect from, a talented first round player is the offensive side of that. And we've seen glimpses. There's parts of his game, but again, tonight you're going up against, granted, Reid laid it out beautifully, the amount of games that the Winnipeg Jets have gone through over the last and their travel schedule. But when push comes to shove, who are the Winnipeg Jets putting out against the other team's top center? Mm-hmm. It's Lowry. Mm-hmm. And you had a situation where your young, not draft pick, but a trade that you acquired a player. He got into a battle with one of the best defensive players in the league and won that battle and scored a massive goal. So that's encouraging. I'd have to agree with you, Reid. It's fun to watch the process of young players like this and see what they'll eventually be. I don't know what that is yet, but yeah, I right now, from what I've seen in these, almost 30 games, is this trade will be, well, you're going to get one of them right eventually, I guess, right? You got it. It's the law of odds at this point. So, I think they'll look back at this and go, wow, that was a good deal.
Okay, I have one more thing for you guys. I just want to bounce it off of you and get your thoughts. And it's related, but it's a bit different. So we ran into some familiar faces tonight in the press box. Former off-ice officials that have been doing it for years and years and years here in Edmonton. So the NHL has eliminated 5 positions in 6 NHL cities this season. And it's like a trial run. And AI is taking over shots, hits, block shots, time on ice, and a couple of different stats. So that's now being accumulated by AI when it used to be done by literal human beings. So some of them were here. It was kind of like a thank you for your service, a send off to them. If this continues to be successful, which it sounds like it's going well, it'll go league wide. I found that interesting. Is it concerning? It takes out subjectivity, and is Skynet taking over? Reid, what would you say?
Come with me if you want to live, Reid.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah, exactly. Cyber9 Industries.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's unfortunate to see people lose their job. I know for these guys, it was like their evening job,
but it was still money. Like you're still making money.
Yeah, it was still income, and
yeah.
I mean, it was the same faces I've been seeing ever since I started attending every home game.
Same.
15 years ago, whatever it was. So that's unfortunate. Like I saw a couple of guys tonight, and I was like, why aren't they in their NHL jackets?
Yeah.
And then you told me what was going on. I guess it's the way of the future. I mean, if they feel it's going to be more reliable and maybe cut expenses, unfortunately, I guess that's what's going to happen. But it's tough. Like, and I'm surprised. I don't know how the AI works.
Me neither.
But like to me, okay, ice time. Yeah, like I guess you got chips or whatever like that. But a blocked shot, you need somebody to make a decision, don't you? If it was a blocked shot,
yeah,
and to count stuff like that. So I don't know how it's tracked or if there's cameras detecting it, but it stinks to see guys. And they all took real pride in it, right? And I said, it was the same crew as far as I can remember. This is one of these things where it's like,
and girls.
Oh, it's a bunch of third year stats students from U of A, and then the next group of students do it the next year. They'd been doing it a long time.
Mm-hmm. Professionals. Gage, what do you think of that?
The only thing that comes to mind right now for me is the fact that Clutterbuck and is it Matt Martin have the most hits in the NHL.
Yes.
That stat, right? And the only reason, because like Alex Ovechkin should be leading the league in all time in hits, because I think he's third all time. But when you brush up against a guy on the island and it's a hit, right? So
and Minnesota,
so there are discrepancies in where you played. Like I would go into some rinks and I'd go, oh great, my save percentage is skyrocketing because I'll get a shot if I stop anything close to going in. Like I would dive out to stop icings, Reid, and get a shot, just to get my numbers up.
Big save, Gage.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I thought that was something interesting. Too bad, and really good people, characters of the game, people that probably get overlooked, but are important and integral. And so I just thought that was something worth noting. Reid, this was fantastic. You were great. I enjoyed sitting with you and Joaquin tonight. How good was Joaquin's coat, by the way, and that collar?
Yeah, he's excellent. Well, Joaquin is a man of the world. The fashion, the food, the storytelling. There are no weaknesses from Gager. Can I give my fun fact?
Of course.
So when the Oilers went up 5-0 before the game was 25 minutes old, I thought, okay, what if they light it up again? So I used 8 as the goal total instead of 9. I know they got 9 the other night. The last time the Oilers scored 8 goals in back-to-back games was December 4th and December 7th of 1988. Both home games. They beat the New York Rangers 10-6.
Jeez.
And they beat the Quebec Nordiques 8-3. So for a second, I thought this could happen. I mean, it was, like I said, it was 5-0, 23 and a half minutes into the game. I thought there was a decent chance they could get to 8. Mm-hmm. They didn't get there, so that remains the last time they got 8 in back-to-back games.
I love the stats. Good dig, Reid. Always a pleasure, sir. Get some rest and have a nice little Sunday.
Okay, see you guys.
There you go. Reid Wilkins with Reid's Reid, brought to you by Ewell. Absolutely tremendous. And we're so lucky. We have so many great people at our station. Ewell, your Edmonton-based partner in power and source for all things electrical. Let's get to the Damon Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out on DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Mr. Ben Thomson, the floor is yours.
I'm going to go a little bit off the board. Not one of the 3 stars, even though he is on a line of this guy. David Tomaszek scoring in his first game. Scoring in his first game back after sitting out a while. All this hype around Connor Clattenburg, and oh my God, he's the savior for the Oilers. He's the savior. David Thomaszek comes back and scores a goal. Gets in some rough stuff at the end of the game. Caused a little bit of a muck. Good for him. It seemed like the time away from playing got to him a little bit. And he's like, yeah, I got to make myself useful here and have an impact. Now, I'd imagine the Clattenburg getting pulled out was specifically for the injury that he had, the cut. So they wanted to, take proper care of that, which is fine. And I'd imagine when he's fully healthy, that's healed up. I'd imagine he probably plays. But I got to give it to David Tomaszek because I don't know when else I would give it to him this season. And I'm happy for him. He scored a goal, and he was physical today. I liked it.
Nicely done, Benny Thompson. That was a nice goal, a goal scorer's goal, if you will. All right, let's go to Box Pounder. Says, nice shift, Reid. Great hustle. Go have a beer. Troll says, it seems like a bad look to cut jobs for money when the league is record profits and the next expansion teams will start at $2 billion. Troll, very good point, man. Very good point. But yeah, that's kind of what's gone on. And it was a revelation to us and startling and surprising because like Reid was saying, those are faces and people and peers that we were very familiar with going back to the Coliseum days. Gage, honestly, guys that would have been doing the stats when you were playing for the Oilers. in the early 2000s and the 90s. All right, I'm going to leave the end of the show with Gager, and I'm going to need a text that comes in from Nolan from St. Albert. It says, Joaquin and the rest of us motorsport fans will be big-time sleepyheads tomorrow morning for the 6 a.m. Abu Dhabi Grand Prix Championship deciding race. Going to be a good one. All right, Gager, the floor is yours. Give us the scoop on the race, and then final thoughts as we say goodnight.
Well, I hate to say because I was wrong. I had always said that I thought that Oscar Piastri would win a world championship before Lando Norris, but I just have a feeling that there's going to be certain papaya rules set in place right now, and Oscar's going to help his teammate, and we're going to see Max not repeating his world championship, and Lando Norris will be receiving his first world title.
Interesting. He just needs a podium, right?
Yeah, it's as long as if Max finishes first, he just needs to be on the podium, right?
Yeah.
Lando would have to fall to fourth, and then it would get interesting. So that's why the start, because Mercedes is kind of lurking there too. They looked quite good, but Kimi Antonelli didn't get into Q3. We'll see what happens, but the first few laps will kind of decide it, but after that, you'll kind of get a good idea, I think, anyways.
Nice. It's going to be a great finish to the F1 season.
Nicholas Latifi's not racing, so we're not.
I love how you pulled out the Latifi references. When you did that, I think it was last week, I was like, oh boy, here we go. This is going to be good. So well done, Gager.
Well, if you remember correctly, that race, Tommy, because I got up and watched it, and it looked like Lewis was going to roll. And when it all transpired, I didn't want to ruin it for everyone. And I texted everyone and said, wow. And you responded, no spoilers, please.
Yes.
And you watched it. And I think you even texted saying, what's wow, what does this mean? And then you're like, oh, this.
No, Mikey, no, it's just not right. that was so incredible.
Unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. Unreal. Gager, great stuff tonight. Benny, fantastic. If you're heading over if you're going over to see the neighbors, dress appropriately, okay? And
well, that's not hard to do.
I don't need much.
No, you don't.
25th anniversary next door. Congratulations to our neighbors. And of course, Benjamin Moore downstairs. We're lucky to be where we are. We're lucky we have the audience that we do. So to everybody who watched tonight, thank you guys so much. To everybody who listened, we appreciate you. Stay warm. The Oilers get the win 6-2 over the Winnipeg Jets. Can they get their first 3-game winning streak of the season? We'll find out on Tuesday. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. For Joaquin, for Reid, and for Benny, I'm Tommy saying have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Ciao for now.